Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herold here on Badlands Media. Happy Monday and happy Labor Day. I wonder how many of you guys are home from work. And my kids didn't have school today. I was with them most of the morning until their mom picked them up. Today's news is going to be, there's a decent amount of it. I'm just going to kind of be all over the place. I realized I was like looking through all my stuff, and then at the end here, I realized I didn't really put it in the order I should have, but whatever. It'll still be a good show, I think. How is you all doing in the chat? How's that for some English? Just Coke, excellent call on the pocket rescission. That's why Badlands is my news. Yeah, see, we weren't afraid to say, like, hey, guys, this bill, the great big beautiful bill, it's got a lot of stuff in it that's not that great. And Trump's not stupid. He's not going to just allow that to continue. You'd think he'd get it out of there somehow. Wasn't that hard to figure something out. Jackie Spot, I work from home and I'm my own boss. So here I am working on Labor Day. I'm working on Labor Day too. Adam Carpenter, Patrick Emanuel, good crowd as usual. Scheisler, good to see y'all. Let's get a quick word from our sponsors and then we'll start plugging away. First up, we got Viper Bats. These guys are awesome. Step up to the plate with Viper Bats, American-made precision-crafted wood bats for athletes and home defense of all ages. Viper Bats are made for players, by players, using hand-split maple, birch, and ash billets to ensure unmatched durability and big league quality. Founded by father and son with a deep love for baseball, every Viper Bat reflects their player-driven passion and expertise. With tons of color options and a 45-day warranty on most bats, you can swing with confidence. Viper Bats, crafted for players, built to last, made to love the game. Swing the best wood bats you'll ever hold. Swing Viper Bats. Go to badlandsmedia.tv/bats. Use promo code Badlands15 for 15% off non-blemished bats. That's badlandsmedia.tv/bats. Promo code Badlands15. And normally I have my bats next to me so I can show you the home defense bats, but they're all outside now. The kids have been playing with them this weekend. So there's that. We also got my fireside. These guys are great too. I have one of these fire pits and I love it. Use it all the time. Fire up your backyard with My Fireside's epic Labor Day sale. Score an American-made fire pit forged from 100% heavy gauge stainless steel, tough as nails, and built to last forever. Make it your own with customizable, interchangeable plates that scream you. Forget those lame closed box competitors. My Fireside fire pit blasts 360 degrees of cozy, radiant heat, warming up everybody in the crew. Proudly veteran-owned and operated, they even throw in a free pocket declaration of independence and Constitution with every single order, because nothing says America like freedom. Plus, every purchase fuels the Semper Fi America's Fund, supporting our nation's heroes. Don't sleep on this. Through Labor Day, My Fireside Big Guy bundles are blazing 25% off. Grab this red-hot deal before it's gone. Light up your nights and spark the vibe of freedom at badlandsmedia.tv/fire. That's badlandsmedia.tv/fire. If you're in the market for a fire pit, guys, can't really do any better. I can vouch for it. Plymouth Patriots 6157. Great New England Badlanders meet up in Plymouth, Massachusetts on Saturday. Word on the street is that the Brights showed up to that. Didn't tell anybody they're going to go. Probably would have had more of an attendance, or maybe less than of attendance had he announced it. But yeah, that's really cool. And I know Ash says there's a Colorado meetup coming up soon or something. We'll announce that too. This Saturday. Don't forget Sunday. Saturday, I'm going to the golf thing. Sunday, I'll be in Minneapolis for the Badlanders meetup down there. Make sure you guys come check it out. Also, don't forget the Codex screenings. Just going to buzz through a couple of these quick. Here's badlandsmedia.tv/events. Oh, almost forgot. Cocoa Beach tickets are now on sale for everybody publicly. So get your tickets. badlandsmedia.tv/events. But yeah, this Sunday, noon, Quinny Sports Pub. Make sure you RSVP. I will be there. CanCon will be there. I think Josh is going to be there as well. So get to it, guys. No update on the Doge website. No update on the presidential website as of yet. But there is rumors of a potential executive order coming soon from Trump having to do with our elections. And this is one we've been waiting on. Trump will sign an executive order to require voters to present an ID at the time of voting. He signaled he also intends to implement other reforms to the way elections are conducted in the country. President Donald Trump announced overnight that he will sign an executive order to begin requiring voter ID in every election across the United States. Through a post on his Truth Social account, the Republican leader indicated that he also intends to implement other reforms in the way elections are conducted in the country, representing the fulfillment of one of the promises made during the 2024 presidential campaign when he faced Democratic candidate Kamala Harris. She's beginning her book tour, I think, this month. I'm sure that'll be terrible. Voter ID must be part of every single vote, no exceptions. I will be doing an executive order to that end. Also, no mail-in voting, except for those that are very ill and the faraway military. Use paper ballots only, Trump wrote on his social network. This is huge. This will be challenged. It'll probably go to the Supreme Court, and it'll be up to them to kind of outline the parameters of whether or not the president has the authority to do this. And it'll be an interesting challenge. But I've been waiting to see what he's going to do. And I still don't think without some form of like massive disclosure or something, and maybe that comes in the Supreme Court case. Like maybe once it gets to the Supreme Court and they're challenging this and they're going to rule on whether or not the president has the authority to do this, he's going to have to present evidence of fraud, you'd think. Maybe not. I don't know. But I've been of the mindset that it's going to be difficult for him to do it. We need the public to do it. We need these local and the local governments of these states and these cities to implement these changes. And I don't think they're going to do it on their own. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't have the answer to this, but I don't know, just interesting. Kyle, John, just curious. Badlands Daily was on YouTube this morning. It's never on YouTube. Was that a mistake or is that something new? If it's never on YouTube, that's Brian's fault because I never told him he can't be on YouTube. A while ago, I used to be like, yeah, bro, just don't stream to YouTube if you're, because you keep getting strikes. But ever since, I mean, that was like 2 years ago. Ever since we've been back on there, I'll talk to him. He should be streaming there more often. I'm assuming, Jess Coke says, I'm assuming Kamala's book is a children's book about hyenas. Peyton Pooh says, smash the like. Be appreciated. Cam Cooksey, good afternoon, Jonathan. Are you guys not doing your show today? Don't you guys do the Y-chromes? No. What the heck? Why is there no Y-chromes today? It's on the website. They bailed on you. So should we take it off the Rumble channel? Is that what you're saying? Because there's 9 people over there waiting. Okay, no, yeah, Jess, if you want to take that off Rumble, that'd be cool. Brian is golfing. What the hell? Oh, he's trying to practice up because he's coming. He's going to be on my team for that golf tournament this weekend, and he's better bring his A game. I think he's only coming because he wants to golf with me without having to face me. He's clearly scared of something. Tournament for Labor Day. Yes, take it. Okay, cool. Yeah, so election stuff, huge. We'll see what happens. I want to see the actual language in the executive order and see how they challenge it. But the next big post that Trump had was this morning, and I think this is arguably even bigger. And I need to find the show. It was a couple power hours ago. I don't remember when. It might have been a lot of power hours. I don't remember when we talked about this, but we were talking about disclosure and timelines and like why are things taking so long? Even like exposure of election fraud stuff. Why isn't he exposed that? We're getting all the RICO stuff coming out, which is great. But one thing that he hasn't really touched on yet was the COVID situation. And he's basically like ignored it. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is doing his thing. But Trump himself hasn't changed his tune until this morning. This is the first time I think I've ever seen him not push the everything is great and beautiful with Operation Warp Speed. And he even kind of still did that in this post to a degree, but this is huge. It is very important that the drug companies justify the success of their various COVID drugs. Many people think they are a miracle that saved millions of lives. So does he not think that anymore? Or does he not? He's not saying that anymore. He has been saying that. Others disagree. With the CDC being ripped apart over this question, I want the answer, and I want it now. I have been shown information from Pfizer and others that is extraordinary, but they never seem to show these results to the public. Why not? Now, is he talking about results that they're good or results that they're bad? He doesn't specify. He just says that I've seen information. I've been shown information from Pfizer and others. It's extraordinary, but the public hasn't seen it. He must be talking about the bad stuff. They go off to the next hunt and let everyone rip themselves apart, including Bobby Kennedy Jr. and CDC, trying to figure out the success or failure of the drug company's COVID work. They show me great numbers and results, but they don't seem to be showing them to many others. So, okay, maybe he was talking about the good stuff. It's a weird post, but then this is where it gets really, really good here, these next two sentences. I want them to show them now to CDC and the public and clear up this mess one way or the other. I hope Operation Warp Speed was as brilliant as many say it was. If not, we all want to know about it and why. Thank you for your attention to this very important matter, President Donald J. Trump. So change of tune. And something we've been waiting on. It's a huge signal. At some point, the COVID narrative was going to have to like come full circle and be addressed by everybody involved. We're going to have to see justice and accountability for that. And outside of like financial stuff, it will be the most consequential narrative exposure probably there is. The financial stuff is good. It affects everybody, but COVID also affected everybody. It's pretty rare that you get something that affects literally everybody across the world that isn't related to like financial stuff. And COVID did impact financial stuff too. But how many people got, they got shut out of their friend groups. They had to work from home. They had to mask up. They couldn't see their loved ones in nursing homes. Like the COVID situation was insanity across the globe. And a lot of people went all in. And we've talked about it before. Why does Trump keep saying the stuff about the Operation Warp Speed? It's because he had to. He had to operate within that battle space. He did the whole therapeutic stuff, the hydroxychloroquine. They threatened to impeach him over it. He had to operate within the battle space presented by the mainstream media. And I personally think it didn't have an effect on his vote. He was doing it for the other side. He still had to legitimately win that election in 2020 in order to pull off something like devolution. So this is the talking points we've been saying for 3-4 years, however long it's been. But now this is a shift. This is a huge shift in the narrative from Trump. And it's barely, but it's enough. Because then it becomes, okay, well, like here's the results. And then it's like, oh my gosh, what happened here? Why were they showing me the one thing and it was the opposite? This is going to have a snowball effect and it's going to be huge. Let's see here. Doctor in name only. Maybe he found out he has been lied to and he's calling them out. Well, he certainly was lied to, but I don't think he just found out. Trump has more access to information than anybody, certainly more than us. If we were able to understand what's going on with COVID, Trump was able to figure it out too. Trump's not stupid, and he has so many people around him. Like they can try to protect him, and a lot of people say that. Like, why is Trump and his team? Actually, let me show you the Laura Loomer post, who basically says this, which I thought this was silly. Laura Loomer. No, I'm not a fan of Laura Loomer, but her post here is kind of what I think is ridiculous. This is what a lot of people say. Finally, President Trump is about to find out that the experts lied to him about Operation Warp Speed the entire time. Why did the gatekeepers hide this information from him for so many years? Nobody was hiding information from Trump. Trump's the one hiding the information from everybody else. And if Trump is discussing this now, it's because he's finally ready to disclose it for whatever reason. There are a lot of very interesting narratives that are like kind of coming to a head. The financial stuff, the tariffs. Trump has implemented these tariffs across the globe, and then you get a court order on Friday that's like, yeah, you can't do that anymore. And honestly, that may be the right constitutional call. It's going to have to go to the Supreme Court, whatever. It might not be his role. That might be the Congress's duty. But we've already been exposed now to the amount of money that we can make off tariffs and the impact it can have. Trump is essentially, we talked about this Saturday, guys. Trump essentially ended 7 wars because of the tariff stuff and the economics. If the Supreme Court rules against Trump in that battle, it's going to fall on Congress to be the ones to implement these tariffs. And now it's going to be like, okay, well, why aren't you going to do this? What's the holdup here? Look at the impact it's had. That's one thing. Okay. Think of crime. I have a great post here on our story on the crime stuff. Trump is giving us like a template for, hey guys, your democratic cities do not have to be this way. Another thing we talked about Saturday. He has cleaned up the crime situation in Washington, D.C. to a degree that it's almost comical that it was never not that way. It doesn't have to be that way, except these blue states want it that way. It's by design. And here you have the Chicago mayor blocking police cooperation with federal agents and National Guard. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson signed an executive order Saturday prohibiting city police from collaborating with federal agents or National Guard troops if President Trump deploys them to Chicago. Johnson said the directive prevents police from being deputized for federal patrols, arrests, immigration enforcement, or checkpoints, stressing that officers will only enforce state and local laws. The order also requires police to remain in uniform, follow body camera rules, and identify themselves clearly to distinguish local officers from federal personnel. The mayor argued that unauthorized deployments undermine democracy and civil liberties, warning against tanks on our streets or residents disappeared by federal agents. He said the city may pursue lawsuits to block federal action. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker has also rejected federal troop involvement as unconstitutional and un-American. Trump dismissed the Democratic leaders as incompetent. The White House criticized Johnson's order as a partisan stunt. And it is. But like, how are people in Chicago going to feel when they see a place like Washington, D.C., which had some of the worst crime numbers in the country, getting cleaned up to zero, like no murders, crimes are down insane numbers, and then hear their governor's like, we don't want that. We want the crime that we have. It's a freaking war zone in Chicago. There's so many cities, like when my girlfriend or anybody, like we're planning GARTs and we're talking about going places, I'm like, I'm not going to go there until they fix our election systems and we don't have a Democrat in there, because I'm not confident that I'm not going to get murdered. That's like a legit feeling from me. But these people in these cities are going to get sick of it. Trump is exposing this. He's exposing the economics of stuff. He's exposing the crime. It doesn't have to be this way. He's working on exposing our elections. I don't know if we've gotten the big exposure yet, obviously, but that's in the works. And then the COVID thing, back to this. This is what led me down this tangent. Like these are all the narratives that are kind of coming to a head right now. And maybe all these ones have to come to a head before the elections actually get fixed. And I think that was the point I made on the Power Hour a while ago. I'm going to see if I can find it. But it's interesting. The timing of this is very interesting. It's very exciting. May 60s, civil war might had prevented, or more like a world war, since the deep state runs the world to prevent what they planned. Maybe. I guess it's a cruise ship GART. Well, but can you promise me that I'm not going to be stuck on a poop deck, like a literal poop deck? Because I've heard horror stories. I also don't want to be in the middle of the ocean when like a tsunami comes or whatever those things are. Sharks. I just watched a movie a week or two ago about this serial killer who like kidnaps people and then like feeds them to sharks. Like that's how he does it. It's a real scary, guys. I don't know if I can do it. See, Marine in the Woods. Pence was placed in charge of warp speed. Yeah, we may get exposure on Pence. I may be wrong about my thoughts on Pence and all sorts of people. We'll see. I still haven't seen like direct evidence of it. Every time somebody like posts a Pence thing or a Barr thing or whatever, they use conjecture and like made up stuff, and then you prove it wrong, and they're just like, oh well, whatever. Like show me something legit. If Trump comes around and like exposes this whole thing and throws Pence under the bus, maybe you're right. But what if he doesn't? What if he's like, they lied to me and Pence? You know what I mean? Spetzel, it would be your perfect opportunity to throw BB overboard. Yeah, guys, have you seen the Titanic? That was basically a true life documentary. I don't want that. I don't want that to happen to me. CJ Cam, I was on a cruise during a hurricane once that diverted the ship around, but still it was fairly crazy. You see, you guys, this is exactly why, guys. I appreciate these comments in support of my anti-cruise stance. I've come a little ways, maybe even a long ways. Like considering, I was at 0% on board with the cruise guard, and now I'm at like maybe 0.5% to 1%. That's kind of a long ways. So who knows? How about a cattle drive with guard? That'd be fun. That'd be interesting. I'll choose Florida over cruise any day. Don't be a pussy. Jackie, that was rude. Not wanting to die does not make me a pussy. I feel like it makes me logical and rational. Anyway, we'll see what comes of this with the COVID push, the drug companies. Man, could you imagine if Big Pharma gets actually exposed? Whew. That'd be crazy. That'd be freaking crazy. The entire medical industry needs a nice wee bit of exposure. Former South Korean First Lady indicted on bribery and market manipulation charges. South Korea's former First Lady, Kim Kyun-hee, was indicted Friday on charges of bribery and market manipulation, accused of amassing more than 1 billion won. That's crazy. Like 1 billion won is $720,000 in illicit proceeds. Prosecutors allege she engaged in a stock manipulation scheme from 2010 to 2012 that generated 810 million won in illegal profits and also violated the country's political funds law and financial regulations. Kim, the wife of ousted President Yoon Suk-yeol, is also accused of conspiring with Yoon to obtain 270 million won worth of polling data for free ahead of the 2022 elections. Okay, this isn't here. This is South Korea. It's a world leader getting in trouble for corruption, bribery. Why I like this story is because I personally believe that you could throw a dart at a politician, and not only would that be really fun, but you'd probably be hitting somebody who has engaged in the same type of behavior. Like go to Congress, throw a dart. No, this is just a metaphor. Secret Service, FBI, I'm not actually going to do this. But go into Congress, throw a dart. Whoever it hits on is going to be somebody who's engaged in this exact same behavior, and all these people need to go to jail. So it's nice to see some politician somewhere. And maybe it's not even true. Maybe this is the regime taking out somebody who isn't, but the story of it is what we're discussing. Mimi Two Boys says having ID in California won't prevent cheating. Everyone in California can get a driver's license. Yeah, it's just with the election stuff, the ID is just the beginning. We need to get rid of the machines. Maybe there's an entirely different system. I know Ash doesn't like the blockchain stuff. I'm not sold on it either, but maybe it's something like that. I don't know. And I don't even care. I don't even care for the aftermath at this point, because like we have a long ways to go to get to the solution aspect of this. And I do imagine that Trump has some sort of solution in mind, and we'll see what it is. But I want to see the exposure first. Like we need to expose the fraudulent election system before we get to the solution phase. Like one can't come before the other. John, are you being trolled? You suck, y'all. Holy fook. Yeah. No, it's a real name. I didn't name her. Her people did. What else we got here? Oh, Xi has Putin and Modi and all his people at the big parade. I think he's having the parade tomorrow, or is it Monday? Today is Monday, so I don't remember. He's having a big summit there. The parade is, or maybe it was the 3rd. I don't know. They're all hanging out. I'll show you the video here, though. This is Putin with the president of, or the prime minister of Vietnam. No, I'll show you this, actually. This is from the Badlands website. The Badlands Brief, guys. We have a Substack, badlands.substack.com. You can subscribe for free, and they will go through all the major headlines of the day and give our take and the mainstream media take, or the mainstream media story. I'd encourage you to do this if you haven't already. And also, it is a great way to support us if you subscribe over there. But Modi is meeting with Putin in the back of a limo here After the proceedings at the SCO summit venue, President Putin and I traveled together to the venue of our bilateral meeting. Conversations with him are always insightful. You got Modi again, meeting with Putin. Respected comrade, Kim Jong-un inspects newly inaugurated combined missile production line of major munitions enterprise. Those are some big bombs. Yes, check that out. It's on our website. Oh, what else we got here? Some more Truth Social posts. So while Brandon Johnson, Chicago, again, I told you it might be out of order, is talking about there are signs of executive order saying like, hey, federal police force, stay out of here. We want the crime. We don't want safety and security. Trump posts this about Muriel Bowser. Wow, Mayor Muriel Bowser of D.C. has become very popular because she worked with me and my great people in bringing crime down to virtually nothing in D.C. Her statements and actions were positive instead of others like Pritzker, Westmore, Newscomb, and the 5% approval rated mayor of Chicago. Okay, remember these names because I have a story later. I think it was The Hill. They put out a list of like the ranking the 2028 Democrat presidential nominees or something stupid. And these are like three of the names here, I think. You're going to love the ranking. Who spend all their time trying to justify violent crime instead of working with us to completely eliminate it, which we have done in Washington, D.C., now a crime-free zone. Wouldn't it be nice to say that about Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, and even crime-drenched city of Baltimore? It can happen, and it can happen fast. Work with us. Trump is like extending an olive branch to these people. Be like, we can fix your crime issue. And they still don't do it. They're playing politics. And people are going to notice this stuff. Wouldn't it be nice to say that? I already read that. It can happen. It can happen fast. Work with us. Mayor Bowser's ratings have gone up in a short period of time, 25%. And the people of D.C. are thanking her for stopping crime wherever she goes. It's not a miracle. It's hard work, courage, and being smart. The top law enforcement officer in L.A. said during the riots, and when I sent the troops in early, that they couldn't have done it without us. They were completely overwhelmed. If we hadn't gone in early, on top of the Palisades Plus fires, LA would have lost the Olympics. Congratulations to Mayor Muriel Bowser. Don't go woke on us. DC is a giant victory. That never has to end. Doesn't have to be that way, guys. Doesn't have to be the way that it is. Here's Trump making a comment on India. What few people understand is that we do very little business with India, but they do a tremendous amount of business with us. In other words, they sell us massive amounts of goods, their biggest client, but we sell them very little. Until now, a totally one-sided relationship, and it has been for many decades. The reason is that India has charged us until now such high tariffs, the most of any country, that our businesses are unable to sell into India. It has been a totally one-sided disaster. Also, India buys most of its oil and military products from Russia, very little from the U.S. They've now offered to cut their tariffs to nothing, but it's getting late. They should have done so years ago. Just some simple facts for people to ponder. You know, another aspect of this that I don't think we talk about enough? How many jobs are outsourced to India, like the phone stuff or just online jobs? Now that so many businesses have gone remote from COVID, there's a lot of businesses that have employees or people doing the work that could have been done by Americans, but they outsource it there because it's cheaper. What if we cut that off completely for India? What does that do for their economy? I wonder how many. I wonder if I can even find that. How many Indians work remotely for U.S. companies? I wonder if they have a number on that. Precise number isn't available. Millions of Indians work for American companies. As of 2025, over 1.9 million Indians were employed by foreign companies, with estimates suggesting it could increase to 2 million in the near future. I wonder what the real actual number here is. And I'm saying not just the H-1B visa thing where they actually come here. I'm talking about Indians who take the jobs of Americans, but they stay overseas, like the remote work stuff. That is what I'm curious about. There's this story, hiring binge abroad. The biggest companies in the United States are on a hiring spree in India. They are building hundreds of overseas office parks. These aren't call centers. They're offices for Indian professionals employed by global companies to perform advanced tasks that not long ago Americans would have carried out. This is from March of 25, guys. There are already 1,800 of these centers, and the rate of growth is doubling. They will soon employ 2 million Indians. Man. Cut that off completely. See what happens. See what happens to the economy there. How much of our money is getting paid to these people to boost their economy? Yeah, doctor name only says it's called offshoring. Screw that. Yeah, CC. It's my girlfriend. She says, you mean like my entire team last year? Yeah, her job, that's exactly what happened to her. She's with the same company now in a different role, but they like outsourced her entire team to India. Truth Lab, half our IT is in India. Shiba Rista, revoke all H-1B visas held by Indian nationals. Well, again, that's just one aspect of it. Because I think these people, like with the work centers here in India, they don't need H-1B visas, I don't believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know what? I'll just chat GPT that. Hold for processing. Oh, somebody sent me an article today about ChatGPT as well. I should look that up. I don't remember who it was, but they're like, this is what it's doing. It's rotting your brain. I don't use it nearly as much as other people. To Indians who stay and work in India for United States companies need H-1B visas. No, Indians who live and work in India for U.S. companies do not need H-1B visas. See, we're educating ourselves here. This is great. So I'm making, I think, a really good point. Trump, if you want to win this trade war, not only do you get cut off India from the H-1B visa stuff and those things completely regardless, but cut them off from American companies hiring them. That's what you got to do. And see what happens to their economy. Screw the tariffs. Just cut them off completely. Cold turkey. F around and find out. Where was I? Oh, here we go. Here's Trump talking about the tariff stuff. More than $15 trillion will be invested in the USA, a record. Much of this investment is because of tariffs. If a radical left court is allowed to terminate these tariffs, almost all of this investment and much more will be immediately canceled. In many ways, we could become a third world nation with no hope of greatness. Time is of the essence. President DJT. I want to start compiling a list of all the different ways Trump signs his True Social posts. Because sometimes it's thank you for your attention, this matter. Sometimes it's President DJT. Sometimes it's he spells it out, President Donald John Trump. It's just funny how he does it. Okay, there's that. Let's keep going here. Rosie O'Donnell, not that anybody cares, but she apologized for falsely claiming Minneapolis school shooter was mega. These people never learn their lesson. Like, has there actually been an incident where there's ever been a shooter that's actually been mega? Like actually a Trump supporter and doing anything because of Trump's ideology or Trump's, the America First vision? Because I don't think it's ever happened. Because that's not what we're about. So I don't know how these people fall for this trap. They're so stupid. And people recognize this. The trans stuff is what accounts for most of this stuff. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Petty 49 put a link in here. Let me see what this link is. Oh yeah, here we go. Russia, India, and China leaders Putin, Modi, and Xi during the SCO summit. Spetzel in the chat says business process outsourcing, BPO, and information technology outsourcing sectors 1.6 to 2.5, call centers 1.1 to 1.3, remote jobs 0.6 to 1. That's crazy. Oh, by the way, Spetzel, he is doing a fantasy football league. You should post that in the chat again for fans. Spetzel, you should put that in the chat again, and I'll post it on the screen because I know you're looking for more people to sign up. I may even sign up if he doesn't get enough people. And we got this from Spetzel too, from Mike Ben Cyber.
Was trans, the Aberdeen shooter was trans, the Denver shooter was trans, the Aberdeen shooter was trans, the Nashville shooter was trans, the Georgia shooter was trans, the Philadelphia shooter was trans, the Uvalde shooter was trans, the Colorado shooter was trans, and now the Minnesota shooter was trans. I think one of the things that you see being pointed out by the Walsh types is that even if there is no clear ideology, there is something in the water with the untouchable nature of the trans identity until just the past really year that you could even talk about it frankly, and what appears to be a kind of underlying mental instability that tends to disproportionately give rise to these school shootings. The Denver shooter.
It's a great point. The only thing I don't like about that video is he's dressed like Tim Pool. I mean, I know he's filling in for me as like the joke, but lame. Hold Hold on. I think I see something in here. I need to. That link is not showing up, Spetzel, on my end. I know you posted in there, but here, I'll do it this way. Give me a second. Because I want you guys to sign up for this league. Because I think it'd be fun. Let's do this. Edit that. Take that out. Boom. There. That showed up. So if you want to join the Fantasy Football League, let me edit that again here. There we go. Badlands Fantasy Football League. Thanks, Spetzel. Ash says he was doing a bit that he was actually Tim during that show, and they let it run way too long. Yes, they did. Ash says I'd sign up for that, but y'all can't handle my skills over here. That is an interesting thought. Your skills were certainly on display the other night during the draft. That was a good time. It's really funny too. We do this like fantasy football show, and then all of a sudden, some people with super original ideas start a fantasy football show. People, we just got some copiers, some haters who do nothing but copy everything we do. It's hilarious. Patriotic Fighter 17. We the Patriots are wise and awake to the deep state evil acts. Yes, we are. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with the tariff stuff. I don't think it. I don't know. I don't know what to think of it because, as Chris and I talked about on Saturday, it is possible that this is the correct ruling in terms of constitutionality, like who is supposed to be the ones deciding and setting tariffs. It was originally Congress. They have delegated that stuff for sure to the president over the years, but was the delegation of that constitutional? I don't know. It's going to be an interesting court case. This is some big news. Not surprising though, because just not surprising. Robert Mueller has Parkinson's disease. Family says the former special counsel who led the Russia investigation during President Trump's first term has had difficulty speaking in recent months. The congressional committee dropped a request for Mr. Mueller to testify this week. The last time Mueller was seen in public, and it even shows in here, was in 2019. He has not spoken publicly or given an interview to a major publication since he testified. And it was bad. Like he didn't remember anything. Like he already had some clear mental lapses, mental insufficiencies during that testimony. And it's been like 6 years since then. Robert S. Mueller III, the former special counsel who investigated ties between President Trump's campaign and Russia, was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease 4 years ago, his family said in a statement on Sunday. In recent months, Mr. Mueller and former FBI director has had difficulty speaking and experienced mobility issues, people familiar with this condition said. As a result, a congressional committee has withdrawn a request for Mr. Mueller to give testimony this week in its inquiry into the government's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein's investigations. I had a family member who had Parkinson's, and it's not a fun one to watch. I mean, I can't imagine it's a fun one to have either. Yeah, it was my uncle. He was awesome. He was like always fun loving, and then and you could just tell it was like weighing on it. Just couldn't be the man he used to be. And it ultimately ended up taking him, and miss that guy. So I don't wish this upon anybody, praying for him as a person, but not a very good dude. Is this an excuse? I think it's legit. Like his testimony was pretty bad, but I have seen people online saying like, oh, he's just faking it. He's got to testify, and Biden is faking it too. It's an actor, all these things. I don't think so. 5D Fantasy Spetzel, nothing can stop what is coming. Like that, Ash. Cat Q Patriot, Daily with Zach and Ash. It was a great show. Should we replace Brian with Ash permanently? Just kidding. I would never do that. I mean, Ash is great, but I would never replace Brian. Lumpy Jinsey says Mueller said he didn't remember more times than Hillary at the Benghazi hearings. Yeah. Rumbleson says, worth saying again, I cured my Parkinson's by dropping Prozac. Might not work for everyone. That's crazy. Clearcat367, Oregon Badlanders meetup coming in September 27th in Cottage Groves. I would get that on the website. We'll advertise it. What else we got for you guys? Oh, man, it's already 12:40. Yeah, we'll skip that story. I guess I can show you them, but I'm not going to read through it. Trump keeps threatening to punish Putin. Here's what he's holding back. And they're just talking about, like, why isn't Trump, actually implementing sanctions on Putin? Number one, I think doing so is ridiculous. Doesn't matter. They've sanction proof themselves. Doesn't really matter. He's sanctioning, like, the people around him. So the peripheral sanctions are potentially could affect him. But I don't know. We talked about this back in 2022 on Power Hours. That old Gonzalo Lira thread before he had passed away. How basically because of Biden, Putin and Russia was like the sanctions had no effect anymore. This is a story that's interesting. Plane carrying EU leader hit with suspected Russian GPS interference. I don't buy it for a second. Anytime they blame Russia for any like major anything, it's like, okay, well, what's really going on here? Did it happen at all? The European Union on Monday said Russia was suspected of jamming the GPS system of a plane carrying European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen to Bulgaria on Sunday. We can indeed confirm that there was a GPS jamming, but the plane landed safely in Bulgaria. We've received information from Bulgarian authorities that they suspect that this was due to blatant interference by Russia. They blame Russia for everything. But I got to imagine, like, if Russia thought for whatever reason that Ursula von der Leyen was like needed to be messed with, and they had the capability of getting some sort of transmission or whatever to her plane to jam it, don't you think they would do something a little more nefarious to take it down instead of like, oh, we're going to mess with your GPS? You're never going to get there in time. And I know in a plane that's obviously a little more dangerous than that, but do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if they did that, wouldn't they just EMP that shit and take it out if they could? I don't buy this story. Don't buy it at all. But it is interesting that it's being talked about. Are they using it as justification to try to draw Europe into a greater war? I don't know. Oh yeah, the Hill. This is the story I was going to show you guys. Oh, by the way, is Congress back to work? Are they back to work this week? Oh, no, stop that. Get out of that. There we go. The upper chamber reconvenes Tuesday, following the month-long August break. Man, our Congress wasn't there for like a month. And nobody really noticed or cared. Isn't that interesting? Shut that government down. Okay, here's the ranking of the Democratic contenders for president 2028. These are hilarious. Gavin Newsom, and the reason for it is he's surging in the polls because he's been trolling Trump by posting like him and selling merch that looks like his. Because, and the irony of this is funny too, because anybody who's buying that merch, like when anybody looks at a hat, it doesn't matter what it says. If it's a red hat with white letters, they're gonna be like, oh, Trump, that's a Trump supporter. Like he's making Trump more popular, probably, or at least appear more popular in blue cities and states, whoever's going to be buying this stuff. So that's interesting, number one. Number two is Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They're like, yeah, if they want to go way further left, she'd be a great one to do it. But again, these are the Hills rankings for contenders for president 2028. And I hate talking about the 2028 election. It's stupid, but I just want to show you how ridiculous and how bad the state of things are for the Democrat Party. Former Vice President Kamala Harris embarking on her book tour soon, because that'll win a bunch of people over. Super popular. Maryland Governor Wes Moore, crime is insane there. Governor Pritzker, crime is insane there. Gretchen Whitmer, dyke. Pete Buttigieg, also a dyke, or one of those gays or whatever. Josh Shapiro, Chris Murphy, Andy Beshear. They got nobody. Like typically the Democrat Party, like going back over the years, they have like one figure that's like transcendent, right? A lot of charisma, somebody that they can justify stealing an election for, regardless of their policies, whatever. Barack Obama was that. Like, as much as he hate the guy, as much as I hate him, he was able, like, they were able to at least sell the story, like, yeah, this guy won. And maybe he did, I don't know. Fooled a lot of people. But they haven't had that since then. Hillary, nobody liked her. Joe Biden, they clearly stole that one. And that guy, even though they stole it for him, they couldn't justify the steal. A lot of stuff's getting exposed. Kamala Harris, like, Are they really that stupid? Ash 1776, haven't heard Dyke in years. That's probably a good thing, right? Just like a month ago was Jasmine Crockett in the lead for the Democratic ticket. Yeah, that's kind of crazy too. I don't know if I'm going to read this, but Bloomberg sharing articles about like Trump's campaign pledges stalling ahead of the midterm campaign season, which is crazy. Like we get 3 months of politics, and then it's all of a sudden midterm election season. But they are talking. I mean, they're justified in what they're saying here, talking about some of the campaign promises. Trump's actually followed through with the tariff one. The courts are trying to take it back. And then the end of the war stuff. We talk about this all the time. It is okay to criticize the outcomes that we haven't received yet from the Trump administration. If we haven't had them yet, you can speak the truth. And it does make you anti-Trump. I do think a lot of these things are coming. But as I've been saying, not much has actually changed on the day-to-day. Anything else here? I know I have more stories than this. I got to. But maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. So what do you guys want to talk about? You guys have any questions? Mondays are always the worst, in my opinion, in terms of news. Like for whatever reason, the weekends are like slow and there's nothing like crazy exciting. The good news doesn't start like coming along until the weekdays. I signed up for Badlands Fantasy League. There you go. How many more you need, Spetzel? Old Rusty says, Oregon's whole government is run by dykes. We need help here. Not sure how we can help with that, but I'll see what I can do. Let's talk about you, John. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little tired. I'll say that. Like weeks with the kids are always exhausting, especially the weekends. And because, streaming and all that stuff, getting up early. I feel like I just haven't caught up on my sleep since Deadwood. So I am excited about, I'm speaking about being tired. I'm yawning. I'm hoping to catch up on sleep this week. But we'll see. But then I'm going to Minneapolis this weekend, and I'll probably be tired after that. It's like I never catch up on sleep. But other than that, I'm doing great. Ash says Trump's troops are fired today. Oh, yeah. Rudy Giuliani got in a car accident. I heard that was true. I think that was in the Badlands brief today. Let me find that here. Badlands.substack.com. America's Mayor Rudy Giuliani, 81, was severely injured in a car accident this weekend in New Hampshire after assisting a domestic violence victim. On the evening of August 30th, 2025, in New Hampshire, Mayor Giuliani was involved in a motor vehicle accident. Prior to the incident, he was flagged down by a woman who was the victim of a domestic violence incident. Mayor Giuliani immediately rendered assistance and contacted 911. He remained on the scene until responding officers arrived to ensure his safety. He suffered a broken thoracic vertebrae, lacerations, and contusions. Crazy. He was struck from behind. Scary. Praying for him. Any news on Jeff Sessions or Alberto Gonzalez from last week? I haven't heard anything. Peter Theo Palantir and JD Vance connections. I don't know if we have enough time for that. Spetzel says there's 5 spots left in the Fantasy Football League. Rockcut says, I'd sign up for fantasy football, but my Vike Queens ruined football for me, as did the league in general. I know it sucks. Like, sports are such a distraction. Everything's woke, but I think some of the wokeness is going away. It's just, some of the distractions I need and I enjoy. I enjoy some of the distractions. I can recognize they're a distraction and still watch football. Especially now that my son is like getting so into football, like it's hard to not pay attention and watch some of that stuff. Anything else you guys want me to talk about? Otherwise, I got other work to do tonight on the basis conspiracies. By the way, Zach texted me last night. I think we're having a guest join us. Let me see what it is again. his buddy Low Light Recovery from our chats. And we're going to be talking about the Delphi murders and the conviction of Richard Allen. That's on the show tonight. Oh, Kai Rose is a little hater. Wonder if that's a new account or old account. Yeah, I mean, you tuned in at the bad time. This show's basically over now. It's been over for like 5 minutes. Football gives the Y-Chrome boys a chance to talk shit to each other. That's entertaining. Yeah, it is. But yeah, guys, so I think with that, I want to get you out of here. Just a reminder, check out our events page. Get your Cocoa Beach ticket. So they're on sale now publicly. And then all these other Badlanders meetups scheduled. I'll be at the one in Minneapolis this weekend. Be fun to hang out with you guys. So come check it out. And real quick, I got to give a shout out to Soft Disclosure, our own lotion brand, guys. If you haven't yet, get yourself some Soft Disclosure. Get ready to ignite a revolution with Soft Disclosure. This isn't just a product drop. It's a full-on movement. It's about to shake things up. This is personal care that doesn't mess around. No compromises, just pure unapologetic quality. The lotion is fantastic. I use the non-scented one all the time, like 20 times a day. And the scented one smells great. It smells fantastic. It's a little too strong for me, a guy. Girls, I would understand why they love it. Supercharged with aloe, goat milk, exclusive Badlands oil blend. Also, we have the deodorant, which I've been using that now every day, the mint one. Also love it. Smells great. Lasts all day. Nothing weird in the armpits. No like pain or aggravations or anything. It's just, it's amazing. Straight up badass. Got to try it. 2 months of daily use. And then the tallow bar can be used for like basically anything. Ashley uses it for lip balm. You can use it on all the tough spots. It's great stuff. We've partnered with Willow and Farm to bring you guys this stuff. It's a great way to support Badlands Media. So you are putting your money with not only with Badlands Media and supporting us, but with an America First Badlander, and you're putting your money where your morals are with Soft Disclosure. Make truth your routine. Head to softdisclosure.com. Use code Badlands for $5 off and join the fight today. Everybody who's tried this stuff, we haven't gotten a single bad review yet. So give it a shot. We'd appreciate it. And with that, I think I'm gonna get out of here. Oh yeah, Rise of Tire. Get ready to ignite a revolution. Whispers Soft Disclosure. Love it. Love it. And I gotta get you. I saw you guys text me today or yesterday. I'll get back to you today on that stuff. You guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you tonight on Baseless Conspiracies. I think right after me here on this channel is we got Alphas Make Sandwiches at 3 p.m. Eastern. Book of Trump tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Culture Change at 9. Busy day. Busy day. So, yeah, we'll see you guys in the chats and see you tonight on Baseless. You guys have a great rest of your Monday and Labor Day.
Read all about it.
2, 3. Let's get started.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me? Stopping me.